A computer case is like the frame of a car. In some cases, it's the only part of the computer you'll see. In other cases, and I'm using the word case in the non-literal sense here, even if they have large side panels, the case is still the first thing that you'll likely notice. You'll typically see the goodies inside after the fact, so it's not very often then that a case literally forces you to notice the inside first. I've already reviewed the Enthoo Pro M acrylic, but I believe I've found something in a similar form factor that is eons better. The Anidees AI Crystal. What? Anidees? Yep, that's right, they're a fairly unnoticed company in the PC case market, but I have a feeling this case will change things up for them. Let's take a tour. The box the AI Crystal came in was standard in size, and to my surprise, getting all Dr. Seussy here, the word fragile was labeled nowhere on the box. Why would I be concerned about this? Well, check this out. 3 of the crystal's panels are made entirely out of tempered glass. Yes, you heard me correctly, folks, glass. Nonetheless, the case was completely intact, and the soft foam kept the panels together. Upon first glance, the case didn't appear too large or too small at 475 by 216 by 497 millimeters. This puts the crystal just under the Enthoo Pro acrylic size, and a significant deal over that of my previous case, the Corsair 400C. Nonetheless, great size and great space. The glass panels are held in place by 4 support screws, each with an included rubber washer to prevent unwanted scratching. A nice touch. At first glance, I did notice that the glass was tinted, although a great deal of light still manages to make its way out of the case if you plan on illuminating the goodies with a series of LED strips. The AI Crystal is very water cooler and custom lube friendly as well, supporting 2 360mm radiators, one up front and one up top. You can include both, by the way, at the same time. However, Anidees includes 3 140mm fans up front to begin with and a single 140 in the rear. Nice added touches, seeing as though most cases only include 1 or 2 fans nowadays. What a shame. The fans themselves also house white LEDs, which I'll reveal towards the end of this review. The basement of the case spans from the back to up within 65mm of the front, meaning that as long as your fan radiator combo is about 6 centimeters thick or less, you'll have plenty of snuggle room for a 360mm, 280mm station below, or anything smaller than that. The top of the case is also radiator friendly. I was able to squeeze my 280mm rad up top along with 2 140mm fans without a hitch. Plenty of clearance for a full-size ATX motherboard below. Speaking of which, the chassis includes integrated mounting screws, a plastic cable shroud that also includes a secret second function, more on that in a second, a large grommeted cable slot on the ceiling of the basement, and 7 PCI expansion slots. Extended power supplies will fit below, protected by a removable dust filter, and contrary to other early reviews I've read in regards to this case, sticking with a non-modular power supply shouldn't be a problem, as there's adequate space between a typical PSU and the hard drive cage. This cage supports 2 3.5-inch hard disk drives or 2 solid-state drives. There is screw support for both, and all required screws can be found in the included accessory box, along with a few tie straps, PSU, and motherboard screws. I was also pleasantly surprised by the inclusion of an integrated fan hub supporting up to 5 fans, wow, all of which can be controlled by a switch up top with low, high, and off presets. And don't worry, the lows are very low. I can't hear the fans when they're operating at this preset. High, on the other hand, is the opposite story, but that is to be expected. No complaints from me here. Further towards the front of the right panel, you'll also find a few Velcro straps, always a great addition, and seeing as though this panel is also tempered glass, keeping your cables in check back here is, in my opinion, a requirement. No one wants to see that mess, so make it look pretty-ish. The front panel, which is also layered with tempered glass, is removable, giving way to a large removable dust filter that spans the entire front end. Airflow appears to be satisfactory, although the air filter is a bit on the thick side, so in this case it's either go big or go home. If it's the former, dust will not be an issue. There's also a dust filter up top. I use it even with my exhausting radiator to prevent dust from falling back into the case through the exposed section closer towards the front. Building inside the AI Crystal was a breeze. I had about as much room as I did in the Enthoo Pro M acrylic, and significantly more space than I had in the Corsair 400C. By the way, I'm comparing those two cases to this one not because of price or anything like that, but because all 3 of these cases appear to have the inside of the computer in mind, so all 3 have very large windows, whether they be made out of acrylic or in this case tempered glass. All in all, I was 100% satisfied with the end result. Cue the tech porn. So if you did notice up front, that removable white panel, which I painted white by the way, it comes in black normally, is actually a graphics card support as well, and let me explain what I mean by that. Without even knowing what was going on, when I inserted my 980 Ti, the PCB of the card slipped perfectly into the top narrow groove of the shield, and now no graphics card sag, absolutely none. Folks, I think I'm in love. If you're not a fan of the fans, maybe the LED layouts or transparent chassis, no big deal, swap these out with your choices. I'm just a fan of the fact that they included 4 of them. The 2 bottom LEDs on my rear fan were dead out of the box, but I've got a white fan I plan on placing there anyway. Now my favorite case up until this point, and I've made no secret of it, see this video right here, has been the Fantex Eclipse P400. And I've gotta say, it's still a great bargain. But what I'll also say is this. For currently $140 US, I saw it on sale at one point for 99 bucks, actually a few days ago. It's one of the cheapest tempered glass cases you can currently buy, and with added benefits, a fan hub, Velcro routing, graphics card anti-sag technology, and plenty of uninterrupted space, you likely won't be left with that sour taste in your mouth after purchasing and building in a budget-friendly counterpart. Consider the real deal, consider the Anidees AI Crystal, it's worth every single penny. I'll have a link to the case in the description of this video. I typically only use Newegg and Amazon when I post links to products that I showcase here on the channel, so when it does become available on Amazon, I will have that link listed as well. Also, be sure to check out their website, Anidees' own website, where they showcase their own case. I keep saying case in these kinds of videos. I need to come up with a different word. I don't know, tower, maybe. Something like that. Throw a suggestion in the comments, I'll check them out. Maybe consider using that word instead of case over and over and over. If you liked what you saw in this video, you see it coming, folks, give it that thumbs up, give it a thumbs down if you feel the complete opposite, or if you hate everything about life, be sure to click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and stay tuned for a video detailing the differences between DirectX 11 and DirectX 12, what exactly DirectX is, what an API is, and how it helps game developers develop games. Stay tuned for the next one, folks. This is Science Studio. Thanks for learning with us.